Hi, my name is Vivian. I was the only kid of super rich parents who adored me. I grew up in a fancy house and was sent to the best schools. On my first day in middle school, a pretty girl walked up to me and immediately put her arm through mine. My daddy says you can tell a lot about someone from their car. And wow, girl, you're richy rich. I'm Brenda, and we're friends now, okay? Later that day at recess, I saw a girl from our class eating alone. Hey, why don't we ask that girl to join us? Nuh-uh. I told everyone we're bringing smoked salmon bagels for lunch, and she brought gross egg sandwiches. That's poor people food. No one in class is gonna talk to her now. That's the rule. I'm sorry, but that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I joined the girl at her table and swapped my lunch with hers while everyone gasped. I'd broken the rule. That day onwards, Brenda hated me with a vengeance. She tried to beat me at everything: grades, friends, clothes. One day in 8th grade, she came up to me and said proudly, "I got my period before you. Ha! I hit puberty first." This girl was crazy. I could hardly stand her. But then one day in 9th grade, something terrible happened and everything changed. Dad fled to some other country with all our money and left us with tons of debt. Mom had to pay it by selling almost everything we owned, including the house. By the next day, the news had spread across the school and Brenda came running to me. OMG, look at that. Super poor. Now that's one thing I can't beat you at. You're the clear winner here. But her laughter soon turned into cries when we discovered that my mom married her dad and she was my stepsis now. What the freaking fish? You cannot be part of my family. Gosh, someone just pinch me. It's definitely a nightmare. Well, I did what she asked for and she went completely nuts. Dad, I want you to get a divorce right now. This woman definitely married you for money. And her daughter is a loser. What am I going to tell my friends at school? Oh, Brenda, what are you talking about? I'm so happy you're my sister. We'll get along so well. Get away from me, you witch. She stormed off angrily. I was going to have so much fun teasing her. But a few weeks later, I woke up one morning and noticed some light-colored patches on my hands. I thought it was just an allergy, so I covered it with a little makeup. But I was wrong. Within weeks, my entire body was covered with patches. I told Mom and she immediately took me to the doctor. I'm afraid she has a skin condition called vitiligo. No, it can't be. I cried all the way home and locked myself in the room. I couldn't believe I had to live with this condition my entire life. Honey, please open the door and let me in. You're still pretty, I promise. But no matter what Mom said, I knew things were just gonna be tough from now on, and I couldn't let anyone know, especially Brenda. So I started wearing tons of makeup and full-sleeved clothes to cover my skin. But Brenda even started picking on me for that. Wearing such tacky clothes in the summer? You must have gone crazy because of the heat. And saying that, she threw a glass full of juice over my clothes. Here, beat the heat, jerk. This was it. I jumped her and grabbed her hair, and soon the argument turned into a crazy fight. Obviously, we ended up in the principal's office, but I was the only one who got punished. Vivian, 1 week of detention for you. Any more of this nonsense and you'll be kicked out of the school for good. As I stormed off angrily, Brenda pushed me as she walked by. I have a rich daddy. Too bad yours didn't like you enough to stay. Later, in the detention room, while I was listening to music, someone pulled out my earplugs. Hey, what the... I looked up to see a really cute guy, and my heart skipped a beat. Your eyes, they're stunning. What? Really? These old things? I'm Tanner, by the way. So, how was someone as charming as you in detention? Oh, yeah, it was all a big misunderstanding. I'm sure, 'cause there's no way an angel like you could do something wrong. OMG, he was so cute. For the next week, I got to see him every day and we kind of became friends, but I was afraid he might not like me if he discovered my secret. One night while I was changing into my nightwear, the lights were off and I saw a shadow sneak in from my bedroom window, and I screamed. Suddenly, someone put a hand on my mouth and said, "Hey, relax, it's me. Don't shout." Tanner, what are you even doing here?
I just came to tell you that. I think I love you, Viv. I'm going crazy for you."
Saying that, he pulled me closer to kiss me. But just then, Brenda barged into my room, and to my horror, she switched on the lights. Ha! Caught you. Wait a sec. What's wrong with your freaking skin?
OMG, gross. What's that on your face? And your body? Get away from me.
I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole as Tanner and Brenda stared at me. Is this what I think it is? OMG, you're a freak! I expected Brenda to act like a jerk, but Tanner, he just ran away from there like I was some monster, and that really hurt. The next day at school, I couldn't find him anywhere, but then I saw something that completely shocked me. Tanner and Brenda were sharing the longest kiss in the history of the planet behind the school. And then he said,
OMG, babe, I think I love you, and I'm going crazy for you.
Crazy for her? Hey, you literally just said that to me yesterday, jerk.
Love you? I would never. Look at yourself. Only someone blind can love you.
As I was just about to punch out his perfect teeth, Brenda stepped in and stopped me. Hey, stay away from my guy, or I'll tell everyone your little secret. Poor Viv. You know what? Take him. He's a jerk like you, and you guys belong together. After that, I made sure to stay away from those loonies. I didn't want to give her a reason to tell my secret to everyone. Soon after we started 10th grade, our teacher introduced a new student, Jacob, to the class. And I could see all the girls drooling over him. In the chemistry lab, everyone wanted to be his partner, but to my surprise, he walked over to my corner and said,
Hey, you don't mind me joining you, do you?
Of course I didn't. But while we were performing the experiment, I accidentally opened the wrong chemical flask and almost fainted from its smell. Just then, Jacob caught me in his arms and carried me to the nurse's room. He even stayed there till I felt better. Hey, what are you doing here?
I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
OMG, he was so strong and such an angel. After that, we spent a lot of time studying and hanging out together. My life was close to getting perfect, but then Brenda happened again. I could see she was into Jacob and she'd follow him everywhere. Once when Jacob and I were walking down the corridor, she started walking unsteadily and crying out, Oh, I feel so dizzy. I'm gonna pass out. Someone, please hold me. I knew what she was up to, so I held back Jacob's hand and she fell to the ground. What do you think you're doing, witch? Saving you trouble. She then got up and whispered in my ear, Don't you dare lay your hands on what Brenda wants, or your little secret will be out, princess. Psycho, don't you already have a boyfriend? What's your point? He's hotter, and what Brenda likes, Brenda takes. I knew once Brenda had her eyes on something, she was either gonna take it or ruin it, and that scared me. So later that day, when Jacob asked me on a movie date, I had to refuse because of Brenda. Good job, scaredy cat. You got what you wanted, right? Now leave me alone. Oh, not just yet, honey. I want you to cut all ties with Jacob and leave him alone. You're crazy, and you're a freak, and I know your secret. Remember that. I loved Jacob, but I had no choice but to listen to Brenda. The very next day, I broke up with him. I'm sorry, Jacob. It's just not working out between us.
But Vivian, listen to me.
He kept calling and texting, but I couldn't. I felt terrible. For the next few days, Brenda kept dancing around him and teased me about it. She was so evil. Then a few days later, while I was walking down the corridor, Jacob pulled my hand into an empty classroom. Hey, wait, what are you? Before I could even finish my sentence, he just pulled me close and kissed me. I wasn't expecting that, but whoa, it felt like heaven.
I know everything about what Brenda did to you, and I want to tell you, I love you for who you are.
But how did you know?
After you broke up with me, she kept pestering me all day long, but I told her I only love you. Then she got mad at me and told me about your condition. I instantly knew why you broke up with me.
Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you so much.
I know, Viv. I love you too, sweetie.
Of course, we started dating again because I wasn't afraid of anything anymore. The guy I loved me back for who I was, and I was the happiest. Of course, Brenda looked livid. Before the junior prom, Jacob prepared a big surprise for me in the cafeteria and asked me to the prom in front of everyone. OMG! It was all so romantic, and of course I was going to say yes. But just then, Brenda threw a jug full of water over me and all my makeup washed away. And everyone was looking at me. This trash? You want to go out with her instead of me? I'm practically perfect, and not some weirdo like Miss Patches here.
Brenda, you're a complete nut job. What's wrong?
I held him back and stepped up in front of Brenda. Brenda, since the day I met you, you've only cared about stupid things like money and looks. But those things aren't going to get you friends or love. You'll be all alone one day because you don't care about anyone except yourself, and that makes you ugly. And soon everyone around her started shouting at her. Yes, Brenda, Vivian is beautiful inside and out, and you're awful.
You're trash, Brenda.
You're a cheater, too. Brenda ran from there, and I turned to kiss Jacob. Everyone cheered for us and congratulated us. Later that day, I went home and told Mom and Dad about everything Brenda did to me, and they decided to send her away to a boarding school for spoiled brats. Jacob and I continued to date until the last year of school, and then we got into college together. Hi, my name is Iris, and till I was 10 years old, I had a perfectly normal childhood with perfectly normal parents. Then one day, Mom suddenly decided to become religious, and she went completely insane. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed to read anything with the word magic in it, so I snuck Harry Potter books from the library and hid them under my pillows. But one day in the 6th grade, I came home to find Mom lighting up a fire, and to my horror, I saw my books on the ground. I told you I don't want you reading these devilish scripts. Come here and throw them in the fire. Are you crazy, Mom? I'm not burning them. Then I'll just have to save your soul. And with that, she shoved them all into the fire. I had to use all my saved up allowance to buy new ones for the library. But in the 7th grade, Mom went completely nuts. Dad had taken us for a party at his boss's house, and sometime later, I noticed that Mom wasn't in the room. I went looking for her and found her in the study, slashing a painting with a paper cutter. Mom, what are you doing? This painting is evil. I can feel the devil's presence in it. It turned out that the evil painting was worth a fortune. Not only did Dad get fired, he also got sued. He said he couldn't stand Mom any longer and left for good. I was furious at Mom, but I couldn't be for too long because the next day she announced that she was pregnant. Dad was unreachable, so I was all she had now. And 8 months later, it was me calling 911 when she went into labor. At the hospital, Mom threw a huge tantrum because there were no female doctors available. There's no way a male doctor is touching me. I made a vow to God. Get me a woman, or I'm keeping this baby inside. Just then, a handsome young doctor walked in, and Mom screamed, "I'll take him!" She made me reapply her lipstick before I was shoved out of the room. Mom was acting weird. Mom gave birth to a baby girl, and I fell in love with her instantly. She's beautiful, isn't she? Yeah, he's an angel. Oh, you're talking about the baby. Well, she looks like a boiled potato. Mom got busy again with her church meetings, and I became Maddie's babysitter after school. But I adored her and didn't mind at all. One night, as I was tucking her into bed, Maddie said sleepily, "Can you tell me a story of ghosts and witches on flying broomsticks?" Shh! Where did you learn about that, Maddie? I saw a cartoon on TV. It was so funny. I wish I could fly. I love magic things. And with that, she dozed off. But I was still thinking about what she'd said. I loved reading the Harry Potter books as a kid. Only a crazy person wouldn't. I sat down and started writing a story I'd had in my head since forever. On the first day of high school, a cute boy came and sat next to me during recess. "I'm Lori. Want to see something really cool?" And then he started wiggling his ears. For the next hour, he kept talking about how he gave ear-wiggling lessons on his YouTube channel, Learn Useless Talents. And just like that, I'd made a new friend. He started coming over to play video games when Mom was away. One time, she came back home earlier than I'd thought, and poor Lori had to hide for 2 hours before he could leave. Mom would have gone nuts if she'd found a boy at home. One evening, I had dinner plans with Lori, but I couldn't find a babysitter, so I took Maddie with me. As she sat in her high chair, she suddenly pointed to someone. "Look, Mommy!" I turned around to see a couple at a table, and I laughed. "That's not your mommy, silly. It's my mommy." I turned again, and this time, I saw the woman's face clearly. What the heck? That leggy woman feeding some guys strawberries was Mom.
Oh, you know that guy with her? He's our chemistry teacher.
After putting Maddie to bed that night, I waited up for Mom. She jumped out of her skin when she saw me. "Holy piece Why are you still up, Iris?" "Mom, take off your coat." "What? Why are you acting so weird?" "I said, take off your coat. Don't use that tone with me. The Lord hates rude children. Now go to bed. He also hates liars." And with that, I started pulling off her coat. She pushed me away, and we landed in a heap on the ground. "You were on a date with my teacher. I saw you. So you just lie about going to church, neglect your kids, and go on dates instead? You're such a hypocrite, Mom. How dare you accuse me?" Just then, Maddie walked in and stared at us. "Mommy, you look mad, like the evil witch from the book. Remember, Iris?" "The what?" I was grounded for a week for reading such books again. But if Mom thought I was buying her lies, she was so wrong. I was going to catch her again, and this time, I was going to take pictures. 2 nights later, as I was scribbling away my story, I heard a sharp tap on my window. It was Lori, and I let him in. "It's been 2 days since I last saw you, and I was going crazy. Look what I got you." I nearly screamed when I saw his gift. It was a brain in a jar with a tag, "You've been on my mind." Lori, what are you saying? "I'm saying, I think I'm in love with you, Iris." And then he kissed me. "Lori, I thought we were just friends. I had no idea you felt this way."
Are you freaking kidding me? I hid for hours from your whack job mom. You brought your bratty sister on our date, and I didn't say anything. Why would I put up with your crazy family if I didn't love you?
"Because we're friends. I didn't even know that it was a date. And my sister isn't bratty. I think you should just leave now." But before he could, the door suddenly flew open and Mom barged in. She chased Lori out the window with a broom. "You shameless child. As soon as you graduate high school, I'm sending you to a convent to become a nun. Now take these beads and pray for forgiveness." "I haven't done anything wrong, so no thank you. Please get out of my room, Mom." What a crazy night. I felt bad about the way I'd left things with Lori, so when I went back to school, I looked for him everywhere. I finally found him in the cafeteria with a girl in his lap. There was a group of kids around them, and they were all watching something on their phones. "Hey, Lori, can we talk?" "No, you can't talk to him, witch." But he was just telling us that the woman in this video is your mom? I stared at the phone, horrified. It was a video of Mom and the chemistry teacher, and a woman was attacking them while screaming, "You stole my husband, and you're such a cheater!" Some students saw this crazy drama at the restaurant last night and recorded it. Gosh, it must be so embarrassing to have a mom like that.
Yeah, look what your mom is up to, and you're not even allowed to have a boyfriend. I'm so happy I came to my senses. And now, I'm with my future wife.
As the two started kissing loudly, I threw a glass of juice at their faces. "You're only with this girl because I rejected you, loser. And I'm glad you're out of my life because you're a terrible friend." And with that, I stormed off. As if things weren't bad enough, the chemistry teacher burst into tears during class and went down on his knees.
"Iris, can I please come live with you and your mom? My wife kicked me out, and I'm homeless. I'll do all your homework, I promise."
Mom was ruining my life. When I went home that day to confront her, I found her in the study. "You want to explain what happened at your date last night, Mom?" She turned around, looking half crazy. "I'm your mother. I don't have to explain anything to you. But do you want to explain why you've been writing this nonsense under my roof?" To my horror, I saw a pile of shredded paper on the table behind her. "Mom, did you just shred my novel? I've been working on it for 2 years. I don't have another copy. I'm sending you to a Catholic boarding school. I'll wash my hands of you. Right back at you, Mom. God, you're crazy. I'll be happy to go far away from you. But there was no way I was going to some boarding school. I had to run away from there, and I was going to take Maddie with me. One evening when Mom wasn't home, I sneaked into her room and started searching the drawers for any money I could find. Suddenly, I came across a paper under her clothes, and when I read it, I was shook. It was Maddie's birth certificate, and the father's name was not my father's name. Oh my God, my dad wasn't Maddie's dad. I delayed my plans to run away and decided to look for Maddie's father. I searched for him online, and it turned out that he was some millionaire businessman. I made an appointment with his secretary, pretending to be a journalist who wanted to write an article on him. Maddie's dad welcomed me into his office, but his smile vanished when I dropped the truth bomb on him. I showed him Mom's picture and Maddie's birth certificate, and it looked like he was having a stroke.
This woman, your mom, she used to work for me as a secretary a long time ago, but she just disappeared. I had no idea she was married or that I had a kid.
He asked if he could meet Maddie, and I invited him to our house. When he came the next evening, his eyes teared up when he saw her. Maddie, this nice guy's your dad. Go say hello, sweetie. As she sat down next to him and gave her some gifts he'd brought, Mom walked in, and when she saw him, she turned paper white. What are you doing here? I found him, Mom. Maddie deserves to know her dad, and he deserved to know about her. But you don't care about anyone, do you? Maddie's dad got up.
You've kept her from me all this time, but now I want my daughter to come live with me. I wasn't a very rich man when we met, but I'm a millionaire now, and I can give her an amazing life.
A millionaire? Oh, darling, I'm single, and I'll be...
Just Maddie, please.
Mom agreed to let Maddie go with her dad, but for a monthly allowance. It was breaking my heart inside that Maddie would leave, but I was really happy for her. I bent down next to her. You'll go live with your dad now, but I'll come see you every week. No, you come with me. Maddie's dad was more than happy to have me too, and I was overjoyed. As we were leaving, I turned back to Mom. You haven't been a really good mom to either of us, but I want you to know I forgive you. Oh, and a question before I leave. Is Dad my real dad? She looked straight into my eyes, and with a cold tone, she whispered, no. I attacked her. You psycho, crazy woman! Maddie's dad pulled me away, and to him I said, just take me away. Now Maddie and I are living our best life. I've also started writing my zombie novel again, and I'm sure it's gonna be a bestseller one day.